What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to be having a look at the Super Boss version of the Kizuna Clash versus Alber. So I've already made a video talking about the 10-star difficulty. This time around, we're going to have a look at the more difficult version, the one that you're supposed to work together with your alliance in order to take down. And I do think that this is a pretty harsh super boss, just due to the mechanics. They're really shoehorning you into using these New Year's characters. And it just feels really bad because, of course, not a lot of people are going to have these characters max invested to actually do a hell of a lot of damage. So we'll see how things progress over the duration of the Kizuna Clash, and of course more teams are going to come out. But in this video I've got two different teams versus each super boss variation. There's only two super bosses this time around, so you only have to build two separate teams, of course. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so starting things off, this is the first team that I have up against the Strength Super Boss Kizuna. Now, with this team, characters that are Fighter, Slasher, and Striker receive cooldown, and I will say that, you know, Roger and Odin are probably one of the more ideal characters to use in this quest, alongside Zoro and Sanji. Those are the two characters that they really want you to use in this content. And the main reason for it is if you have a look at Battle 2, there is Who's Who as the main boss with 12 million health, and then there's 4 additional enemies, each with 1.5 million HP. And there's Despair, which of course Roger Odin deal with, but in this case we're going to be using V1 Roger because he also deals with the Despair. There's also going to be 6 turns of damage threshold as well on stage 2, but this is where we can activate the super swap of Zoro and Sanji, giving us a full board of tandem slots. Switching into the quick variation, using the special of Zoro Sanji will remove 6 turns, or it's actually 7 turns of threshold, 7 turns of defense. And that's obviously very good, gives us huge damage and just deals with everything there. And also, the Roger special can be used here because it will do 1.5 million damage guaranteed through everything. So that immediately knocks out the mob characters and you can target everything on Who's Who. Eventually, when you reach the final boss stage though, there is going to be the enemy removing your beneficial effects as soon as you enter stage 3. So having a captain that can resist the removal of your beneficial effects is actually really good, because it means we can maintain everyone being Slasher Free Spirit due to the effect of Zoro Sanji special. The class change does last for 3 turns, so we can carry that into the next room. Very, very important. Another thing that we would want to have done is activating the special ability of the Toki and Kinemon, the Toki and Odin, switching them, and then using their special to get color affinity. Would have all boost from the Sanji and the Zoro, but would also just be having the attack boost from Roger. And of course, Kinemon special will go ahead and extend the duration of color affinity and attack boost by 2 turns. It's very important that we do that because when we reach the boss stage, the enemy does have Intimidate against attack, orb, and affinity boosts. So your buffs have to be extended into this next room, or you have to have like 2-turn buffs that you're activating. Alternatively, you could just use the special ability of Zoro on that last stage and not even have to worry about extending the Roger special, because Zoro does give you 2 turns of a major attack boost to Slasher Free Spirit. And another really cool thing about Zoro is that he does give you the increased damage taken conditional, which Whitebeard can actually inflict with his special. We do have the support of Whitey Bay attached to Whitebeard, which allows us to add or to remove 1 additional turn of barrier. So Whitebeard removes 1 turn, the support removes an additional turn. You could go ahead and just use the Strength Whitebeard Super Evolution character instead of using the quick version. He does remove 2 turns of barrier by himself, and he is a better unit, but the fact that this unit is quick means that he will have like type advantage and stuff, just doing more damage against the opponent. And it is important that you actually maintain everyone being Slasher Free Spirit, because the enemy has a 100% resistance against everything that is not Slasher Free Spirit. So you get severely nerfed damage if you're not using Slasher Free Spirit. So Zoro Sanji are another key unit that you want to have. One thing I just realized here as well is that there is 6 turns of damage reduction. So yet another piece of, you know, gimmick removal that we have to actually inject into this team. I actually haven't put a character on here that removes Rainbow Shield, so you probably want to replace the Zoro on this team with something that actually removes 6 turns of Rainbow Shield. Obviously, New Yamato will do that, so all of the New Year's Legends do have a component in being used in this content, but it's really annoying, honestly. So yeah, that is a minor mishap on my behalf, but yeah, overall, a really, really annoying super boss fight. So moving on to the secondary team that I have against the Strength Super Boss is going to be like a team basically with like all the units that they kind of want you to use for this. So we're using Roger Odin, Zoro Sanji, Friend Captain once again, and Yamato of course. And with this team, one thing that we can do is we can super swap with Zoro Sanji on stage 2. and we actually don't need to use their special straight away because we could actually use the special of Momonosuke. Momo will give us 3 turns of chain boundary, and he'll also enable us to remove 7 turns of damage threshold. So we can keep Zoro Sanji for the last stage, which means that we get all of their amazing buffs, but also we'll get the ability to get the massive chain buffs, the chain multiplicative buff, and the chain addition. So that's pretty dope that we can do that. Even still, we can go ahead and use the special ability of the Roger Odin to get attack and orb boost, Yamato to get the color affinity boost, and well, technically we do have to save Yamato for the final stage because there is Rainbow Shield that we have to remove on the final stage. So it's really frustrating the way that it's kind of designed either way. But the really cool thing with this combo is that we get the ability to inflict increased damage taken with Yamato, and then we also have the Enma Zoro, who can give us a conditional boost against characters that are inflicted with increased damage taken. So that's a really cool combination that you can have with those characters. But yeah, still annoying that, you know, there's just a lot of defensive effects in this super boss, just so many different gimmicks that they kind of want you to use these characters. Really frustrating, but this is what I have so far at the moment for the first super boss fight. Of course, as things progress, teams are going to change, and I'll be able to upload a video for you guys once we discover a few more things about this content. So moving on to the secondary boss now. This time we have a team that is going to be up against the quick one. So we want ideally like a Dex focused team here. Now with this one, they really want you to use Yamato and Zoro Sanji together. So you do see that on Battle 2 there is Fear, so of course we want Zoro Sanji to remove that. There's also a barrier where you have to hit the enemy with 2 tandem slots in order to break it, so that's kind of annoying that you have to get around that. So the way that this team's kind of getting around this one is we have the Robin Jinbei to remove the Rainbow Shield. We'd have the super swap of Zoro Sanji, but we don't actually have to use their special. We can keep it for the next stage because when we use their special, obviously we get like massive chain buffs. Of course, we want to keep that. Still using the switch effect to generate the tandem slots, and then we can use Robin Jinbei to remove the Rainbow Shield, and then Brook's special. Brook is just kind of here because he's a Straw Hat, which can help trigger the EX super special of Zoro and Sanji. But he actually gives a pretty decent special, especially with level limit break. The Brook gives like a delayed conditional boost and a chain boost as well, so just giving you more damage. Remember, when you super swap with Zoro Sanji, you will also receive a 2.25 times attack boost. You'll have a full board of tandem slots which are matching, so you're going to have pretty decent damage there. Then, of course, when you reach the boss stage, there's 6 turns of paralysis, which is why Kid is here. Kid removes paralysis, gives color affinity boost. There is an Intimidate against attack down and conditional, so any conditional is -1 turn, any attack boost is -1 turn. This is why we have Ace and Yamato as an option for you guys that you could potentially use using the switch effect. Of course, Ace and Yamato will be a strength unit when you super switch, but you have to do what you gotta do. But their special is 2 turn attack boost, 2 turn conditional boost, guaranteed burn conditional. Kind of works out. There's also defense up, which is kind of annoying, but Zoro Sanji will be able to use their special to remove that, which is great because we saved their special from the previous stage. And there is also chain attack down, so if your chain is below 10x, then you receive a 30% attack down, which is really frustrating. I don't know why they wanted to make that, but basically you just receive 30% less damage until you exceed 10 times chain, which is not very easy to do. We also have Law on the team. Law is here because he just gives increased damage taken through immunity, so just a bonus 50% damage. So it kind of offsets the chain attack down that you would be receiving, and you can actually use the EX super with this special as well with Zoro Sanji. So you know, you just get more damage overall. This team seems solid, but it's pretty annoying because one thing that I forgot to mention, and that's another reason why they kind of nerfing the amount of damage you can do here, is because on this fight they negate your slot boosts and base attack boosts on stage 2 for 99 turns. So it's super frustrating, but this is like just an obscure team with, you know, not really using any of the newer units that you may be able to build in order to do decent damage against the super boss. And then the secondary team that we have against the quick super boss, this one here we are going to be using Yamato this time around, but I've also got Rush Sanji and Zoro, as well as Robin, and then for some reason we've got Buggy and Shanks, mainly because they're like a really good unit on the crew that can not only remove paralysis, but they also give us pretty big color affinity boost, so they're really nice for the final stage. But, you know, relatively similarly with this team, we can use the super switch on stage 2 to get the full board of tandem slots. You get an attack boost, of course, and you should be able to pierce and hopefully kill with that. Of course, there is damage reduction on stage 2, so we do have to use Yamato's special on stage 2 as well. It's kind of frustrating that they make it so that they want you to use Yamato on stage 2 because her special is so freaking good that you kind of want to use it on the final stage, and I guess technically speaking, you can get her special back if you are able to use enough specials, because in her dual form, she does have the capabilities of fully charging her special. Every time she's in her dual form, another striker or slash uses a special, you do get the ability to, you know, get your specials back, get her special back, but I'm not too sure if this team will be capable of doing such a thing. But then when you reach the final stage, of course, you know, as I said, Buggy and Shanks remove the paralysis, give a really good color affinity boost. The combo of Robin and Zoro giving 2 turns of conditional boosts each that stack together. Zoro with that support of Otama is really nice because it does buff conditional boosts by 0.15, I think it is. But not required, but it just gives you more damage if you have access to it. And then of course we've got the Sanji with the support of the Onami, which is really key because the enemy does have defense up. It's like a hell of a lot of defense. And the thing is that you don't really need it because, you know, we are going to be using Zoro Sanji on, you know, stage 3 anyway, and he does remove defense up. This was more of like, you know, if I wanted to use Zoro Sanji on stage 2, I kind of left it there, but you don't really need the Nami support at all. No real supports are needed for this team. Otama gives more damage, and if you want to use, you know, your damage effectively, you would use Zoro Sanji Friend Captain special on stage 3, rather than on stage 2. So Onami not really needed, but you know, the Rush Sanji does give you additional damage, not only because his special is really good, but also because of Rush, giving more damage for Strength X quick characters, which is really solid for this team. But either way, that's what I have right now in terms of the initial teams that I have just come up with versus Quick and the versus Strength Super Boss. But we'll see what happens when the event goes live and see if we can come up with anything a bit different once the event period begins. But anyways guys, that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that guys, I will see you guys within the next video.